This is a webinar which is being organized for you by the Emma project. My name is Francis Browns. I work at the Welton Institute of the Open University, and I will be your moderator today. The speakers today are Mark Lampere and Olga Versova. Before we start the webinar, 2 sentences about the Emma project, so you have some idea about the context. The Emma project is a European-funded project which tries to create a platform to deliver massive open online courses. And Emma then stands for European Multiple MOOC Aggregator. MOOC, again, stands for what's called Massive Open Online Courses, for those of you who've never heard the term. And that means that our courses which are developed for free for anybody who would like to learn something. Those courses are being offered via the internet. So you can access them from wherever you are, whenever you want to. And you can learn what you want, when you want, and at your own leisure. What Emma is doing is creating a learning environment so that we can make those courses and deliver them to you. And Emma has a particular focus on making those courses available to multicultural aspects and in multiple languages. And that means that we're offering an automated service to help you in translating the content and provide subtitles for the videos you create. There are already a lot of MOOCs available, of those online courses available for you to take. So if you're interested, go to the website and have a look. Maybe there's something there that interests you. If you're interested in creating your own MOOC, also go to the website and you will find information how you can join Emma and how you can make your courses. If you want to make those courses, we are offering a series of webinars to assist you with that. And this webinar of today is already the 5th in series of webinars. And this webinar in particular will be about the design you can take to ensure that your course is effective. So again, the title of the webinar of today is Star-Centered Approach to MOOC Science, Challenges and Opportunities. And the speakers are 2 renowned experts in learning design. Mark Lampere from Tallinn University, based in Estonia, will start off in a moment. Olga Versova, a colleague of mine from the Welton Institute of the Open University in the Netherlands, then will continue the presentation. In between, there will be time for questions. Excuse me. You can ask those questions by typing your question into the chat. Before we start, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself in the chat. Give your name, indicate a little bit what your interests are and what your expectations are. And then I would like to give the floor to Mart. One more notice for everybody involved. The session will be recorded, so you can have a look at it after the session if you want to view it again. Thank you, Mart. Take off.
Thank you, Francis, for this introduction. As Francis already said, I originally come from Tallinn University, Estonia, but at this moment I'm greeting you from the UNESCO headquarters in Paris, because this week I has been attending the UNESCO Mobile Learning Week conference here in Paris. Yes, my topic today was motivated by my own experience after visiting and analyzing several MOOCs in different platforms like edX and Coursera and also Emma. And I saw that too often it happens that MOOCs are designed based on what the teacher wants to share as a content. It means mostly it is text and video, and then most of the activities are either just a multiple choice items to check whether the reader has understood the content or some discussion. But this leaves the involvement or engagement on the cognitive level from the participant side sometimes really shallow, and then it is easier to lose your attention and motivation to complete the MOOC, and so that's why I thought that maybe one of the not so new but also not so classical approaches to instructional design could help here. So this model of instructional design, which is called task-centered instructional strategy, has been created by David Merrill, one of the gurus of instructional design community, and it is putting the context in learning to the focus, and I'm going to explain you how does it work. So first of all, learning can be designed just like cars, just like furniture or movie production. So there are various approaches to design, and I like this idea that design is like a blueprinting. If you look at the car, you don't see anymore the blueprints that the engineers actually had to draw before they actually built this car. First the prototype and then the real production. So there are different ways of designing either products or processes. For instance, the movies are also movie production is designed according to some methods, and there are some generic methods of design which recommend you to pass certain phases. Like in the software design, you first have to come up with the requirements, and then based on that you will create prototype, and then you validate this prototype with users and so on. So there are even specifically designed modeling languages for design. Some are more generic, some are specifically designed for certain design context, like software engineering or generic system engineering. So instructional design is of course the design of the process, but also partly along with this process, the instructional designer designs also some products. It means the learning resources, and sometimes learning environment needs to be redesigned for the specific purpose, for the specific course. So this is one of the definitions of what instructional design is. Sometimes it is called also differently, like pedagogical design or learning design. There are a little bit different meanings behind of these similar terms. But the oldest and most classical one is instructional design, design of instruction or teaching. So this is the definition. Instructional design is the process by which instruction is improved through the analysis of learning needs and systematic development of learning materials, learning environment. And yes, instructional designers quite often use the technology tools to enhance instruction. And through enhancing the instruction, we hope that also the learning will be enhanced. So the classical models of instructional design remind the waterfall approach in software engineering or software design, where usually the designer starts from the end. It means that very clearly have to be defined the performance objectives of the learners by successful completion of the course. While once these performance objectives have been clearly defined and validated by experts, then they usually expect as a next step in this model that the final assessment instrument of this performances have to be designed before you start to design actual strategy and learning resources for this course. So this is just one example of the tens of different instructional design models, but they are not so much different from each other. But I'd say that the Merrill's approach is a little bit different, because Merrill actually gives up the idea that there is an obligatory step in the first phase of your instructional design to define measurable learning outcomes in a narrative manner and in a systemic manner. So instead, he suggests that designers should pick one example from the real life, and it could be in the form of video or any other kind of authentic form of an expert performing and carrying out these tasks that learners are supposed to master by the end of the course. So Merrill calls this kind of example, real life example of the performance whole task. So once you have selected this whole task, this defines where you have to be with your learners by the end of the course. But it's not enough to select only one whole task. So Merrill says that learners learn better if they have a series of tasks from authentic context, and these tasks are sequenced in that manner that the first task is the simplest one. You just pick a real life task where part of the task has been already completed by someone, and this is anyway the easy version of the same task. It means that it is kind of scaffolded task. The next task has a reduced scaffold, the reduced support to the learner, and learner has to perform it already in a more independent manner. And so it goes. So eventually learner has to complete 4 or 5 tasks, and the final one is the one that has been described in the beginning of the design process as this dream scenario of the performance by expert, which learner have to master independently. So this is the idea behind Merrill's model. He calls it Pebble in the pond model because he visualizes it as several concentric circles that describe phases of the design process. First, you set up the whole task. Then you select other tasks and put them into progression from the simplest one to more complex ones. Then you define and identify the components of teaching. It means he breaks these components down to 4 parts. I'm going to introduce it soon. And after that, a designer actually creates a strategy for instruction or teaching. And after that, there is time to think about learning environment, interfaces, and resources. So Merrill contrasts his approach to instructional design with the classical one, or he calls it traditional strategy, where topics are sequenced by instructional designer, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, and so on. And each topic has some components related to presenting new information. Then there are some components which are inviting or engaging learners in some practice or test activities. And then there is a final assessment project. But the problem is here that all these presentations and practice items, and they come from different contexts, and they are not associated with each other. So it means that the context which was used in topic 1 for the practice assignment or task will not be repeated in topic 2 or topic 3. And this is what Merrill has changed. So he suggests to pick up these 3, 4, 5 real-life cases that have something to do with the skill that the learners are studying. And the first case is the simplest one, and the final case is the most complex one. And all tasks that instructional designer designs for learners are taken from these specific authentic contexts of these 3, 4, 5 cases. So this is the main idea behind Merrill's task-centered approach, which I introduce now only in a nutshell. So it would usually I teach it in a 4-credit course in Tallinn University in the master's program of educational technology. But I pick now the most essential parts of this Merrill's model that help you maybe to get intrigued, at least, I hope. So the 4th step in Merrill's instructional design process model was component analysis, where instructional designer defines the components of the instruction. And Merrill splits these components into 4 types or categories. The first one is tell, where teacher or video or text of the learning resource is explaining the core concepts. It means information about the topic we are learning. It means the names, facts, and so on. Then concepts, parts of concepts, and kinds of concepts. It means that you always define something, the new concept, as being part of some previously learned concept or kind of some previously learned concept. And you can also introduce through this tell component some description of the process, how to do something, and some rules which explain causal relationships. It means what happens if you do this. So sometimes this is rules explaining that some safety regulations, but sometimes these are even causal relationships as laws of the nature in physics. So this is the tell component. Show component introduces the real life cases where someone knowledgeable or master or expert actually explains or performs these processes or rules or concepts. With ask component, the instructor actually checks whether the learners have understood the facts, concepts, procedures and rules. And with do component, instructor actually gives a practical task to learners to be performed so that they need to apply the knowledge they have read or listened or viewed. So this is these are the 4 key components. And now I have a small poll to you. Maybe Maria could activate the poll. So, which of the 4 components, tell, show, ask, do, was missing in my presentation insofar? So please vote. Please select one of these and vote, and then we will see the results. Okay, can we see now results? Yes, I agree that we, with the majority of responses, we missed the do component. I really didn't assign you anything practical to carry out. I don't agree with the missing ask component because this poll exactly was asking, and in order to ask correctly, you had to apply the knowledge from my previous presentation. But I also agree that show component was missing because I didn't introduce any real-life cases to illustrate these core concepts of Merrill's model. Okay, so let's move ahead. Now it's time to share with you my show component. Of course, it would have been nice to do it with a video, but I think the narrative description at this point will suffice. So imagine that I have to design a course to teach youngsters, like 13, 14 years old youngsters, Microsoft Excel. In many countries, this is the age range where they have to perform, guarantee this kind of digital skills. Teaching Excel to youngsters the same way as we teach it to adults, it just doesn't work. So we have to make it more relevant and engaging by selecting some real-life cases that might speak to them and be interesting. So Merrill offers this example that you could teach it so that when the course starts, every participant receives an email from someone who is called Aunt Susie, and she asks this youngster that maybe this youngster could help her to switch her bookkeeping or accounting in her home-based cafeteria from green book to Microsoft Excel, because otherwise the bank will not loan her money that she needs for extending this cafeteria. So it means that this is a real-life case. There is a story behind. I can actually create a video where I interview some elderly lady and show some interior of this cafeteria, and even I might have this paper version of this accounting document. But before they reach this, they have to practice some necessary skills with the smaller and simpler cases. for instance, as a first, simplest whole task, I could give them tasks related to collecting and analyzing the data about classmates. This is the easiest thing, and this is kind of intriguing for them, to make a table and sort the data based on how tall their classmates are, or what is their age in days, or so on. So I can already imagine several scenarios that actually engage them. And then I create some show components, which are screencasts, just demonstrating how to enter the data in that context of the collecting and analyzing the data about classmates. Then I need some text explaining some concepts, definitions, vocabulary I need for presenting the assignments. Then I have another show component where I screencast the procedure of sorting the data based on how tall they are, or how old they are, or any other data that can be collected without insulting anyone. So that's why I wouldn't suggest collecting the weights. So 13, 14-year-old kids could be really sensitive if they are sorted based on their kilos. And then I have some ask components which are self-tests to check whether they understood really the key components behind these procedures, like sorting and entering the data, and what is the cell and what is the row, and so on, and formula. And then I ask them to do really perform this task, but with a half-filled table already. So it means that it is really the simplest case. Then in the next case, I ask them to prepare the budget for a class trip. They have to do it anyway, so they anyway go to the class trip usually at this age. So I ask them to put together alternative trip routes and costs and discuss them. So here I also have the tell components, show components, do, and I miss even ask component here. But this is not necessary to have all components in every unit of learning. And then on the final task, they should be able independently to take this green book on the paper with some data about incoming and outgoing money, and create the Excel table which is really nicely designed, laid out, and includes formulas and everything. And here I also have some support to them, but already significantly less support. So finally, I have prepared also the do task for you, but I admit that we don't have time, and also this environment is not the easiest one to actually report and discuss these do tasks. But this is just an example, and you can actually try to first respond to this ask question in the chat. And if you still have time left, try to respond also maybe some initial ideas how you would which whole task you would pick if you have to design a MOOC which topic is information seeking and referencing skills for new students in your school. So this is a common course, so in most of the schools, it doesn't matter if it is a high school or college or university, they usually teach such course. But try to envisage that you are now designing the course which is MOOC, in the MOOC format, and has to teach the novice students these information seeking skills in the library and online. And then also referencing that how to cite correctly and so on, but on the very basic level. So you still have to come up with some whole tasks, and it would be good that if these whole tasks are not from the same context. it means from the library or writing your essay or something like this. So you should try to come up with at least one simple whole task example that could be used for designing learning tasks in such MOOC, so that it would be engaging, relevant, authentic. So now I shut up and I give you 3 minutes to reflect in the chat. First, if you could explain what is the difference between show and tell as you understood it, and more specifically, which one of them is actually rooted into this authentic, real-life whole task, and which one doesn't have to be. And then if you have immediately some idea of a whole task for such a MOOC that teaches new students in your school about information seeking and referencing skills. So what would be the easiest new task that has nothing to do with libraries or essay writing, but teaches, allows to draw some nice authentic tasks related to information seeking skills? Yes, I agree with your comments that tell component is more like abstract and context-free. In tell component, you actually define the concepts, list the facts, or describe the general procedures or rules, and they don't have to be associated with the context. But then after that, you have to connect it to the context, authentic context of your whole task with the help of the show component. And this show component can be either video or some imagery slideshow with the photos from real life authentic context, or it could be also narrative, just like in my case today with this Excel case. But what about the whole task, the real life task, which is the first step to teach on the MOOC about information seeking and referencing skills? But this whole task doesn't need to be connected with the libraries or collecting information for your essay. So what other authentic context could actually be interesting and engaging for the new students in your school? Okay, as my time is running short, I have to catch a taxi soon to be in the airport before my flight leaves. So I leave this due task for your considerations, and you will have more authentic tasks and authentic cases from real life introduced by Olga. And I leave also your questions to be responded by Olga. I'm pretty sure that she is even more knowledgeable than myself in instructional designs. Then I hope that this short webinar motivates you to take a closer look on task-based instructional design. There are some other models as well. If you feel that this Merrill's Pebble in the Pond model is too simplistic for you, there is more complex and powerful similar model called 4C ID, or 4 components instructional design model, created by Dutch professor Jeroen van Merenboer. So Olga will probably mention this model as well. But I leave you here now, and it was nice meeting you. I will check your comments later because I didn't manage to read everything you wrote in the chat while I was speaking. So thank you and bye.
Thank you, Mart. That was a very interesting introduction, probably more in general learning design and not particularly very specific to MOOCs. Maybe Olga can continue. Like Mart said, we will take questions after Olga's presentation.
Hello, I hope you hear me well, and I just start my presentation in a second, and I will try to carry on where Mart stopped. I'll talk for several minutes, and then there will be an opportunity to ask questions and probably have some discussion. My presentation is actually an example. I'll try to demonstrate something related to the presentation given by Mart on whole tasks and task-centered, task-oriented design. The first principles of learning and a model that corresponds, that tries to implement the principles in practice, has been demonstrated to you in a nutshell, in a very short presentation, and you had only 2 minutes to think of possible examples of authentic tasks. And one of the questions that I saw in the chat, question asked by Ivan Woperais, is the question that intrigues me myself as well. And it is, well, you can apply this model or a different model of task-based design to courses, to entities of education. You can even, we have enough experience in designing online courses, but can we actually apply this model to open courses, as MOOCs are, to courses to which anyone can assign, and whether it's a 16-year-old or a 50-year-old experienced professional, and just work, would they get enough from such a course? Is this model applicable in a situation of massive education, when there in theory at least, can be more than 50, 100 or 200 or even more participants. There are MOOCs of attracting thousands participants at the same time. How can, and the question that Ivan asked about scaffolding is actually the crucial one. The interactions that are taking place in a course, in an environment where some are learning, others are teaching, and some are probably learning and teaching. Interactions between learners and content, learners and instructors, and learners with each other are essential for a rich and for actual learning. These interactions help to organize the learning process, and they are used to present, demonstrate, and model, as Mart did in his part, and I'm doing now. But there's much more needed to really maintain interest, to have you stay in the webinar now and not leave it, and to have attention of learners who are taking a real course. And there's much more, as I picked some of the relevant issues from a classical article by Moore on that. So is that all possible in an environment which is open to everyone and massive, so can attract indefinite numbers of learners, and the numbers of teachers who could assist the learning process will by no means be as indefinite. I'll give an example of what is possible based on experience at the Open University Netherlands, and based on an online course which is by no means a massive open course. It is task-centered, and it offers an authentic task which is relevant for practice, and this task is complex, and in the course we have quite limited teacher presence, teacher bandwidth, as we call it. So I found this example suitable, but this example also demonstrates what challenges designing task-based design for MOOCs entails. So an example is of an online course for master students. It's a distance education setting, and the course is, don't laugh at me, it's on designing complex learning. Mart mentioned this model by Professor Jeroen van Merienboer, 4C ID model, and the course is devoted to designing, to learning to design complex learning experiences, complex learning with the help of this model. So it sounds a bit complicated, but I hope you can deal with that. So what does this course offer learners? A book on complex learning, which, as you see on the screen, pretends that in 10 steps you can go through this process and learn it, but it actually is a concise description which lays the basis of learning. The expert or the founder himself is invited, or he gives a short summary, the basics of the model in a relatively short video lecture in one of the first assignments. And there's a structure designed by experienced instructional designers and teachers of the Open University to help the students to go through this process. There are 2 teachers who are actually designers of this variant of the course, who are using short video lectures to scaffold different steps in the process. So these are the basics of of course design, which I'm now demonstrating, and the principles that Mart mentioned or referred to in his part, the principle of sequencing a number of learning tasks, is realized in this course in the following way. The first complex learning whole task, in terms of Merrill's model, the first whole task is learning to design a curriculum for hairdressers. So you see a picture demonstrating what cutting hair is, but actually it's about designing a course or a whole curriculum on learning to become a hairdresser. In the first whole realistic whole task is completely modeled by instructors in quite a detailed way, with lots of worked out examples of task performance of different stages. I'll give some details in a minute. Then it's just the first complex learning tasks that students have to work through. Then there are 2 realistic whole tasks offered them for either self-study or group work, or in small groups, in which they are confronted or they are offered two different complex tasks. One is learning to drive, and the other is learning to handle a cash desk. Both are sufficiently complex, and if you are talking about a real-life environment, then the whole environment of just driving in a city or driving through the hills or handling a cash desk in a small shop or in a big department store can be part of this complex learning task. The tasks are described, and there are also examples and models of task performance offered to learners. In the third stage, in the new stage, learners or students are expected to come up with an authentic task of their own that they will work through in the course and finalize and complete the course by handing in a design of the task. And this part, you see a star here, is supported by templates and individual feedback to students by teachers. And here the tricky part starts. But before I come to that, some more information on each of the cycle. So task 1. It's not something that can be done in an hour or even in 2 in such a video lecture. It's a series of learning activities that comprise whole task 1, task in which curriculum design is demonstrated, is explained, think of TEL, is actually demonstrated through a series of video lectures and other materials, and in which you also have an important part of ask component. 2 of the teachers have short question and answers series in which one is the student and the other answers the questions. This is a preparation for a self-test for a student. Then something that you do not see very clearly, it's a hierarchy of skills that is part of curriculum design, which is also not only given to students but commented on by the teacher in a short video. So in this first task, whole task, students do not do anything themselves in the sense of they do not design anything, but they do a lot trying to understand, learning, answering questions, and just pausing those videos before the answer is given. So they are demonstrated how such a curriculum can be designed. Task 2 is actually, they have the choice of doing it individually or in small groups. So the complex tasks that are offered are handling a cash desk and learning to drive. They are offered steps to go through the tasks, to go through all the steps of this curriculum design, and they are offered worked out examples of task performance, and have one example from the whole series. So this hierarchy of skills, which is an essential part of curriculum design according to 4CID, is not only explained and shown, but they have the possibility to do it based on the explanations, and then to compare what they have done with the worked out examples prepared for them by the experts. So in this whole task 2 part of the course, we have all the 4 components that Mart referred to. So the do component is essential in this part, and these are just steps that learners can perform either individually or in groups. Only those who skip that part just can get something from the worked out examples, but they will most probably experience a lot of difficulties when they come up to the next stage, to the individual project stage. In the whole task, which is an individual independent project, they have a lot at their disposal, theory and instruction in the course in the form of the book, and the electronic course book is available. They have models and examples from the first and the second task they can use and refer to. Also, for the individual project, criteria for task performance are made explicit, and they have also templates for different stages of task performance. All those support tools are there, but still the task is complex, and in the course for our master students there are several moments of interaction between the learners and the teacher which are direct, which are not modeled or which are really difficult, if possible at all, to realize in a MOOC situation. Proposals for individual projects are sent or submitted for feedback and go no go moment. So it's an individual moment. There are several question and answer sessions with the instructions which can be followed online, and in these sessions teachers respond to occurring questions. And then the concept reports are submitted for individual feedback by the teachers. When you are talking about a course in which 30 students take part at the same time, and they are studying the course in 10 weeks or 6 or 10 weeks, then you can do that. You can realize that if there's enough teacher bandwidth, if there are 2 or 3 supervisors who actually do not only the monitoring but also provide feedback. But if you are talking about a course of several hundreds or up to 1,000 or even thousands of participants, and you still have one moderator or supervisor who is doing some monitoring on the course, then you cannot respond to proposals, you cannot respond to individual questions asked en masse, you cannot provide individual feedback. These are challenges of MOOC, and I understand perfectly well that Ivan's question, this is the same question that I've been asking myself for quite a while. So the design challenges for a task-based MOOC are here. So the course that I was describing is a real one. It is running now with 2 supervisors you could see on the screen in the video, and 50 students taking it at the same time. And the bandwidth of the teachers is already nearing what is possible. So even for 50 students, it is very difficult to do what is asked here. So I'm almost there. So we have a few moments to go, but I need to finish that. What is done actually to help realize the situation is modeling those question and answer sessions in different ways. Through a virtual class, you don't see it very clearly on the screen, and through collecting questions and responding to questions that occur regularly. So these are not individual answering question sessions, but they are modeling individual answering question sessions. So this is the possibilities that are already exploited and explored at the moment. And now I'm coming to the point, probably this is something that you are asking about, what other things are possible? One of them, and I have the time to mention one of them at the moment, is organizing, designing peer feedback, but not in the way that people do not know each other. People who are just by chance came to the same MOOC at the same time are asked to help each other. There should be purposeful teams, composed teams with sufficient commitment on that. This is only one of the ways that is that can support realizing such a course on a mass scale. But there's much more possible. Yesterday, in a different webinar, of which you can see the links on the screen, several or quite a few of the possibilities were discussed. I knew that I wouldn't be able to elaborate on that in this session, but I really advise you to watch the session, also 1 hour session, the third day of the Open Education Week of the Open University. I'm sorry that there's no time for questions in the webinar, and I hope that there will be another occasion for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. It was a very interesting example of a real-life situation. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. If you're interested, like I said, have a look at our website. There are new MOOCs running at the moment, and there are many coming on. Like I said, this is a series of webinars, and the next one is in April, and that is about how you can create and deliver effective and efficient videos for your MOOCs. If you're still interested in Emma or what we're doing, please come and visit our website or check our social media channels, or look at our presentations which are available on the slide share. Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon.